Hello everyone, Mark Major here. We are located at the Action Figuratorium. It is right behind me there. You can kind of see it. Don't look too closely. There's nothing you need to see there. Anyways, today we're going to be looking at another Kickstarter. I do a lot of these look at Kickstarters. I do marketing analysis of it. It's a lot of fun. I love action figures. I like looking and seeing what people have come up with for their marketing strategies and their offerings. And I think this one's going to be worth checking out because it's got a bit of a kind of a multimedia aspect to it, a kind of a background to it. It's some 5 points of articulation figures from a guy named Matt Haley. And the campaign is called Cyberfist. I'm not sure what that name evokes to everybody, but we're going to check it out. So everybody strap on the leather today and hold on tight. Back in the saddle, as I like to say, let's switch over to our desktop cam. I'm running everything off of a Stream Deck, by the way. For those of you that know what Stream Deck is, you know how confusing and weird it can be and also how it can simplify things. Okay, we are on their Kickstarter page. Matt Haley is the creator. I'm going to play their video for us. Let's turn on the desktop audio. All right, you guys all strapped in for this?
Cyberfist. Evil stalks the streets, preying on the innocent.
Hold it.
You can give justice a hand with Cyberfist.
Damn.
Ah! Oh, those are real bullets. You want to see something cool? Thank God I saved you. I love the shoes.
Cyberfist, the new action toy from Winnerco.
You think it comes in green?
Cyberfist.
All right, so that was really more about Cyberfist, less about the action figures. Let's check out the campaign now and see what we got brewing. Douse the desktop audio for right now in case some weird bells go off. So what you can see here is he has got 4 figures that he's offering for sale. There is a Cyberfist figure who's kind of like this sort of quantum traveler sort of guy from the future. Maybe he's one member of the band Daft Punk. I don't know. And then you can, of course, get him in black. It's just essentially the same figure in repaint. And he has a nemesis named Armaglovin. And there are some troop builders called Arma Troopers. And basically they're the exact same figure except one's black on red, one's red on black. They're 1/18th scale, meaning they're about 4 inches. They're kind of it looks like 5 points of articulation. I'm assuming the arms move, but I don't necessarily know that from looking at these pictures. Of course, here's some stills from it. Here's what the card back looks like, and I have to say that this kind of Transformers looking retro card style is pretty cool. The Winnerco, his brand name. So you can tell already from the clip that we watched and the name of his company, and if you look at the marketing copy that he writes, you know, Winnerco Toys, a leading name in imaginative play, is proud to unveil its latest addition to our growing line of action figure collectibles, the exhilarating Cyberfist collection. That all sounds kind of like, you know, like parody, satire, kind of aping, you know, Ronco and sort of some of these companies from the past that were sort of cheap cheeseball companies that would hype themselves. And Matt Haley is clearly jumping on this kind of retro sort of 80s fun kind of part, you know, Roger Corman, John Carpenter with like sort of the synth soundtrack and the sort of like looks like it's shot on VHS tape with his clips there. Of course, he's showing us his the 3D generated renders of what the figures are going to look like. There's some extra gack here. It looks like it's going to come with, like, there's a single bubblegum card. Of course, here's all the people that worked on it one way or another, whether it's the guy who did the editing or the guy who did the voiceover. Here's a cool little, also very Transformers-esque, retro-looking blueprints of Cyberfist. Here are all 4 of the figures on their card backs. And so here's some of the unlocks. Now, we need to point out that this guy is looking to get $20 a figure, okay? These figures are only 20 bucks. That's a pretty good price. That's, well, I mean, I was going to say it's the same kind of, around the same sort of target price as the Super 7 reaction figures, of which these things look to be as if they're as good or even better quality. I picked up a few at a thrift store, new on card, some G.I. Joe guys, Cobra Commander and a Baroness, and these look as good as that from here. And, you know, so 20 bucks is kind of right in the pocket. I don't think he's necessarily overcharging for these. Could they be cheaper? I think if he was able to get bigger quantities, they could be cheaper. I don't necessarily know that if he lowered it to 15 bucks that he would sell more. But he's only asking $20 for the figures. In fact, here, if we go to the rewards, you can see that there's $20 for Cyberfist, and then you can get different add-on guys to the pledge. And that is actually about it, though. That's kind of it. There's no extra poster, coins, downloadable content, digital versions of anything like comic books, stuff like that. I'm not seeing hats, t-shirts, tote bags, keychains, any kind of tchotchkes, any kind of swag. Just simply the 4 action figures and a couple extra little doodads like the one sort of trading card. So before I get into kind of our best practice of what you should have for a Kickstarter, let's just check out a little bit more about Cyberfist. Apparently in 2020, Matt Haley wrote and directed a short sci-fi video called Cyberfist. The shots that we saw in that intro video were taken from the video, from this little short film that he created. So basically, if you just can see the timeline, Matt seems to be a creative guy. He created the Cyberfist character. It's just kind of a spoof on 80s sort of science fiction, action-adventure movies, you know, like Escape from New York, that kind of thing. Last Starfighter. And so he made the short film, and now it's been a couple years later, and he wants to kind of keep the momentum going, and so now he's kickstarting a line of action figures. And this is important because, you know, he's not like a guy out there trying to launch his toy brand, right? He's just creating his own little realm of this alternate universe through the course of video, some action figures. I get the feeling that maybe there'll be a Cyberfist standalone comic or something like that he may try and fund later. So it's not necessarily about the toys, it's about Matt Haley and Cyberfist. I want everyone to realize that in terms of the intention of what he's selling. I do not get the feeling that he is trying to jumpstart his own toy company and that this is the first of many. However, if this thing hits its marks, and he, you know, gets like $100,000, $200,000, yeah, we'll probably come out with more Cyberfist related figures. I mean, if something is a success, what do? You do more of it. That's why we have sequels to everything. Also, just before I get into the marketing analysis, I want to point out that in 1995, Milton Bradley came out with a character named Cyberfist. He is part of these characters that have these sort of push buttons, and they're sort of mechanical. They turn and they punch, and the idea is you're supposed to put them in like this ring, and it's like they fight like a rock'em sock'em robots, except you get different action figures that you put in there. I actually have a few different characters from this line that I've picked up over the years. They're just loose in a tub. I do not have this Cyberfist, but there is an existing property out there owned by Milton Bradley, and there is the possibility that they could cease and desist, but I get the feeling that Milton Bradley has abandoned the trademark on the name Cyberfist, and clearly this character and its properties has absolutely, as someone can clearly see, nothing to do with the Matt Haley Cyberfist. I'm merely pointing it out that I did a little bit of research in this video, although I do not want viewers to think that I do a lot of research. Let's be reasonable. The bare minimum of research is done for these videos, okay? Do not take this too far that I'm like some sort of Dan Larson guy, not doing any of that stuff. We're just chatting about some things we saw on Kickstarter today. So, back to the campaign itself. He's trying to raise $41,000, which means he has to come up with 2,050 purchases of a either a Cyberfist, black or blue, or a one of these Armor Glovin or Armor Trooper guys. He needs to move over 2,000 and change of the unit. And I don't think Big Bad Toy Store can just scoop up an extra 1,000 or something like this. I think he's going to have to dig deep. I think he's going to have to get a lot of his friends involved, and I think he's going to have to go around on some shows, some podcasts, and do some slumming to sell 2,000 of these units. Okay, now as of the campaign itself, our best practice contains 3 things you got to do. One is you need 3-tier pricing, a cheap thing, a deluxe thing, a luxury thing. The second thing is you need to have a wide variety of toys so that there's something for everybody. And the third thing is just simply that you need to have all of your marketing material jammed into this Kickstarter. And it looks like most of the marketing material is jammed into this Kickstarter as far as what he's selling here. I haven't done a whole lot, but I have to admit I didn't really know anything about that movie until I just did a quick search for Cyberfist just to see what comes up. You never know. I thought maybe he had appeared on some other podcast or something, and I wanted to just kind of see a little bit before I start, you know, speaking. But again, let's be reasonable. The amount of research here, very minimum, okay? So he's got the marketing thing. Does he have the wide variety of figures for everybody? I kind of feel that he sort of does not in this way. I mean, but he does have 4 different figures rather than just one. So I'm going to give him kind of a C+ on that. I'm going to say that he definitely has a variety, but it's not as wide as it could be to get like a big chunk of money. You can see when you look at the character that the figures, that is, that they all have essentially, well, these are 2 of the same figures, these are 2 of the same figures, but we can see that like the boots and the knees and the belt parts are all the same on these guys, so he's smart enough to be reusing pieces to go into different characters. That is what you do. That is the best practice created by Mattel and their Masters of the Universe line in the very early 80s. That is how you do it. You do not simply buy one figure and then make 20 different types, SKUs off of it by just making different colors. Although people in the 90s did do that, it is better than just having one figure, right? It's a better practice. It is not the best practice, okay? So I'm giving him kind of a C+ on that, right? Not failing, but not hitting it out of the park. And the last thing is the 3 tiers, okay? So $20 is definitely, in my opinion, the bottom cheap everyone can buy one. At that price, everyone out there should be able to buy a Cyberfist. Now, does everyone need a Cyberfist? I don't know. That's up to Matt Haley to convince you, not me. But does he have a deluxe figure? Clearly, he does not. There's not a, there's not like, you know, like an idea might have been to take the stealth Cyberfist mode, and he could come with, you know, $10, $15 worth of extra stuff. Maybe he's got some shoulders that go on. Maybe he's got like a rocket thing that goes on. Maybe he's got some crazy weapons. Maybe he's got some sort of like hovercraft or something. Something that you could, you know, deluxe it up. People who will spend more money if you offer them more stuff. Okay. Not really seeing that at this point. I'm just seeing the entry-level stuff. And there's definitely no luxury item. I don't see like, you know, like for 70 bucks or 50 bucks, some kind of like Cyberfist, you know, alleyway diorama or, you know, things like that. Also, I should say that though I did see some clips in his trailer video, I haven't watched his Cyberfist video. There's clearly other actors and characters in it. He probably should roll out more characters, I think, than just his sort of Daft Punk looking dudes. But I mean, it's just what you think you can raise and what you think you're capable of doing. And if this is a one-man show, if he's doing everything himself, there's only so much you can handle. But that doesn't mean that we don't analyze his marketing on this. So what I think is that Matt Haley seems like a guy who is just goofing and having a lot of fun and creating his own satire parody of retro 80s future sci-fi stuff with this movie and now these action figures. I think this is only as important to him. If it funds, I don't think this is any kind of like life's goal or life's dream to have Cyberfist characters. And these are pretty cheesy 5 points of articulation. You know, they're clearly, looks by the paint scheme and the design, kind of a notch up from Final Faction that you get at the dollar store for $1.25, but not by much, not by much. And if these do fund and he is successful, there is definitely room there for him to do another launch or a relaunch of a more articulated version of the characters with real, you know, ratchets and butterfly joints and swivel hips and swivel legs and ball joints and, you know, the torsos and heads and stuff like that, and maybe some accessories and weapons and stuff like that. I don't think these things come with anything. I think they're just the figures, which, between me and you, perfectly fine. Got millions of little guns that I can lose on the ground. I don't need a few more. So am I going to back this? Well, I might like donate or pledge some money to it as like, you know, like a good luck. Thanks for creating, you know, content for people. Thanks for being kind of cool about it. Thanks for being realistic about it. So, you know, that kind of thing. But there's really nothing about these guys that says that you know, I mean, I'm not a Cyberfist fan. There's nothing about these guys that says I want to have it on my shelf or next to my other figures for any particular reason. But it would be fun to have some. I mean, it's fun to kind of have everything, but I wouldn't mind having a set of these guys floating around just on the desktop, always doing something wacky. I think that would be kind of cool, but I don't know. It's up to you if you think it's something definitely in your wheelhouse, definitely worth backing. Okay, so before I go, thanks to everybody who made it this far in the video. I do appreciate that. Also, I'm always plugging my other accounts and channels and brand profiles on things like, well, of course, this YouTube channel, or if you are watching this on Rumble, of course, but I also have an account on Twitter/X that I've had for 13 some years, right, where I post, you know, links to my videos, I post action figure pictures, I do musings on different things. But if you like the kind of Cyberfist thing, you should definitely check out my Instagram, Action Figuratorium, and you might see something like this, a sort of return to Escape from New York, but this time it's with Old Man Pliskin, and he's brought a friend, or actually he's made a friend along the way. It's RoboKong. This is Rescape to New York. And with that, everybody, I will catch you on the next one, so stay charged.